University, Sains Malaysia, menara ilmu tercinta. Jadi tumpuan antara bangsa untuk segala cita-cita. Berinovasi, berteknologi, berwawasan, berkualiti. Biar usaha kami bersemi, hasratnya lah berseri. University, Sains Malaysia, menara ilmu tercinta. Jadi tumpuan antara bangsa untuk segala cita-cita.
Cakrawala masa depan terbuka bagi generasi muda bangsa Indonesia untuk menjadi entrepreneur utama. Di sini di Universitas Ciputra, semua mimpi akan menjadi nyata. Siap melangkah pasti penuh dengan inovasi, bekerja dan berguna untuk dunia. Jadilah yang unggul dan terdepan dengan keahlian dan ilmu pengetahuan, turut serta membangun bangsa Indonesia dan siap menantang dunia. Bersama Universitas Ciputra, gemilang masa depan di tangan kita. Di sini di Universitas Ciputra, cakrawala masa depan terbuka bagi generasi muda bangsa Indonesia untuk menjadi entrepreneur utama. Di sini di Universitas Ciputra, semua mimpi akan menjadi nyata. Siap melangkah pasti penuh dengan inovasi, bekerja dan berguna untuk dunia. Jadilah yang unggul dan terdepan dengan keahlian dan ilmu pengetahuan, turut serta membangun bangsa Indonesia dan siap menantang dunia. Bersama Universitas Ciputra, gemilang masa depan di tangan kita.
University, Sains Malaysia, menara ilmu tercinta. Jadi tumpuan antara bangsa untuk segala cita-cita. Berinovasi, berteknologi, berwawasan, berkualiti. Biar usaha kami bersemi, hasratnya lah berseri. University, Sains Malaysia, menara ilmu tercinta. Jadi tumpuan antara bangsa untuk segala cita-cita.
Cakrawala masa depan terbuka bagi generasi muda bangsa Indonesia untuk menjadi entrepreneur utama. Di sini di Universitas Ciputra, semua mimpi akan menjadi nyata. Siap berengkawasi penuh dengan inovasi, bekerja dan berguna untuk dunia. Jadilah yang unggul dan terdepan dengan keahlian dan ilmu pengetahuan, turut serta membangun bangsa Indonesia dan siap menantang dunia. Bersama Universitas Ciputra, gemilang masa depan di tangan kita. Di sini di Universitas Ciputra, cakrawala masa depan terbuka bagi generasi muda bangsa Indonesia untuk menjadi entrepreneur utama. Di sini di Universitas Ciputra, semua mimpi akan menjadi nyata. Siap mengawasi penuh dengan inovasi, bekerja dan berguna untuk dunia. Jadilah yang unggul dan terdepan dengan keahlian dan ilmu pengetahuan, turut serta membangun bangsa Indonesia dan siap menantang dunia. Bersama Universitas Ciputra, gemilang masa depan di tangan kita.
Rahmat Tuhan selalu
University, Sains Malaysia, menara ilmu tercinta. Jadi tumpuan antara bangsa untuk segala cita-cita. Berinovasi, berteknologi, berwawasan, berkualiti. Biar usaha kami bersemi, hasratnya lah berseri. University, Sains Malaysia, menara ilmu tercinta. Jadi tumpuan antara bangsa untuk segala cita-cita.
Universitas Ciputra, cakrawala masa depan terbuka bagi generasi muda bangsa Indonesia untuk menjadi entrepreneur utama. Di sini di Universitas Ciputra, semua mimpi akan menjadi nyata. Siap berengkawasi penuh dengan inovasi, bekerja dan berguna untuk dunia. Jadilah yang unggul dan terdepan dengan keahlian dan ilmu pengetahuan, turut serta membangun bangsa Indonesia dan siap menantang dunia. Bersama Universitas Ciputra, gemilang masa depan di tangan kita. Di sini di Universitas Ciputra, cakrawala masa depan terbuka bagi generasi muda bangsa Indonesia untuk menjadi entrepreneur utama. Di sini di Universitas Ciputra, semua mimpi akan menjadi nyata. Siap melangkah penuh dengan inovasi, bekerja dan berguna untuk dunia. Jadilah yang unggul dan terdepan dengan keahlian dan ilmu pengetahuan, turut serta membangun bangsa Indonesia dan siap menantang dunia. Bersama Universitas Ciputra, gemilang masa depan di tangan kita.
Wahai putra putri harapan bangsa, ayunkanlah kamu, kobarkan semangat belajar, junjunglah alma matermu. Zaman berganti, musim pun berlalu, cahaya sinarmu akan pudar. Engkaulah kebanggaan kami.
University, Sains Malaysia, menara ilmu tercinta. Jadi tumpuan antara bangsa untuk segala cita-cita. Berinovasi, berteknologi, berwawasan, berkualiti. Biar usaha kami bersemi, hasratnya lah berseri. University, Sains Malaysia, menara ilmu tercinta. Jadi tumpuan antara bangsa untuk segala cita-cita.
Cakrawala masa depan terbuka bagi generasi muda bangsa Indonesia untuk menjadi entrepreneur utama. Di sini di Universitas Ciputra, semua mimpi akan menjadi nyata. Siap berengawasi penuh dengan inovasi, bekerja dan berguna untuk dunia. Jadilah yang unggul dan terdepan dengan keahlian dan ilmu pengetahuan, turut serta membangun bangsa Indonesia dan siap menantang dunia. Bersama Universitas Ciputra, gemilang masa depan di tangan kita. Di sini di Universitas Ciputra, cakrawala masa depan terbuka bagi generasi muda bangsa Indonesia untuk menjadi entrepreneur utama. Di sini di Universitas Ciputra, semua mimpi akan menjadi nyata. Siap mengawasi penuh dengan inovasi, bekerja dan berguna untuk dunia. Jadilah yang unggul dan terdepan dengan keahlian dan ilmu pengetahuan, turut serta membangun bangsa Indonesia dan siap menantang dunia. Bersama Universitas Ciputra, gemilang masa depan di tangan kita.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? My name is Jessica, and I would like to welcome you to our webinar, which is titled Past or Present, Thy Food, Thy Identity. How is our food related to our identity? We will find it out in today's webinar. So before we started to our main event, I would like to deliver some of the rules that we will use throughout this webinar. The first one, please make sure that your camera is turned off and then your microphone is in the mute mode. If you want to make sure whether your microphone is on or off, you can check it out on your left side, and then you can see the microphone sound. If you see it is crossed with a red line, it means it is muted. If you have any question to any of the speakers throughout the webinar, please feel free to write down the question on the chat box. We will let you know how is the format for the question. The question, we will have two parts of the question and answer. So for today's webinar, we will have 4 speakers. In the first session, we will have 2 speakers, and then we will have our first short question and answer session. And then we'll be followed by the other 2 speakers, and then we will have longer question and answer session. So this webinar is made to happen by the coordination from 3 different universities, from Unika Widya Karya Malang, Indonesia, and then Universitas Ciputra Surabaya, and then we work also together with the USM, University Science Malaysia, and we will have all the speakers from those 3 universities. So I would like to mention the first speaker will be delivered by Romo Sutiono, which will have title of The Food Shape Your Identity. And then the first speaker will be followed by the second one, Yohanes Somawiharja, with the title Food from Majapahit Empire. After the question and answer, we will have the third speaker, which is titled Food Technology for Food in Majapahit Empire, presented by Prof. Hari. And then the last but never the least is Malaysia Traditional Food Nutritional Perspective by Professor Basila Arifin. Okay, so now I would like to read the biodata for the first speaker. So he will be our first speaker of the day, Romo Agustinus Sutiono. He is an anthropologist, graduated from Leeds University and York St. John University for his doctorate, but currently he is very interested in guitar. So he is currently also a classical guitar maker, or you can call him a guitar luthier. From Universitas Widya Karya Malang, I would like to welcome Romo Sutiono to start presenting his presentation. Welcome, Romo. You can try to turn on the microphone.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. The time is yours.
Di sini ya. Ya. Ya ini. Good afternoon, everyone. In this event, I would like to present my PowerPoints. I hope it has a power, and also I hope it has a point. So it is called a PowerPoint. The title I would like to present this afternoon webinar is Food as a Sharper and Sustainer of Cultural Identity. It is an anthropological perspective on food. But before proceeding in this presentation, I would like to let you know that I am not an anthropologist. I learned about anthropology and also has a great interest in this subject. But I am not an anthropologist. Nevertheless, I have to prepare these presentations and offer it to you all as a sharing of knowledge. For this time being, I would like to begin with a little bit of introduction about the subject I would like to present. Everyone needs food. I think nobody will decline these statements. Everyone needs food. And there are types of food: material food and spiritual food. Just like our humanity consists of two aspects: material as a material being and also a spiritual being. As a material being, we need also material food. So our spiritual aspects of humanity also needs spiritual food. Both types of food will construct our identity. So there is also a saying that says as following: what you eat tells who you are. If you are a vegetarian, it means, well, you eat leaves and so forth, no meat. You will be someone that other people will experience. You are so gentle, you are so peaceful, you are so calm. But if you eat meat, even raw meat, you will be like a lion, roaring, wow, or probably scaring others. So what you eat tells who you are. That's about material food. Spiritual food now. What I call with spiritual food is something like good thoughts, good knowledge, good spirituality. These kind of things, in my opinion, are also called spiritual food. Every knowledge that you have learned, every intellectual input that you have got from other people also influence your personality. Therefore, it creates also your identity. Food, therefore, shapes identity. It has connectivity with the formation and conservation of it. As we know, we have a kind of terms, technical terms: personal identity, social identity, communal identity, or even national identity. Therefore, we can also say that the conservation of communal food is also a conservation of communal identity. Just like if we conserve our own food and therefore we conserve our personal identity, so is the conservation of the communal food as also the conservation of communal identity, and therefore of culture. It could be personal culture, communal culture, social culture. The purpose of this current presentation is to apply anthropology as a paradigm to understand cultural meanings embodied in the cultural practice of food. Let me first talk a little bit of anthropology as a paradigm. Anthropology is a discipline of knowledge, and its main concern is on human being, or in Greek, anthropos. It means human being. But the concern of anthropology can also be anything related to human being and his or her enterprises. Human enterprises include everything that is generated from the nature of humanity. For example, I would like to mention at least 7 nature of human being. First of all, a human being is a personal being. It is also a social being, religious being or homo religiosus, political being or zoon politikon, homo ludens or a creature who is playing. That is humankind. We are a playing creature. Homo labor, it means we work. Homo hierarchicus, it means we are a creature that acknowledge that in our life there are levels of values, and therefore there is hierarchy of values. As a personal being, we have engaged with anything that interests us for our personal growth or development. In the process of fulfilling of our own personality, we have practices, also things that interest our minds and our conscience. And this kind of things also creates what kind of person we are. As a social being, we need others, we live with others, we get communication with others, and also we create a kind of a social networking. Who our friends are will also determine or create who we are. As just like they also give us some inputs, intellectual inputs or spiritual inputs, and this kind of inputs also build our characters. I believe so that there will be also, as a social being, we have a certain kind of culture, social culture. And therefore, our social food also give us identity to our nature. As a religious being, or homo religiosus, we have a tendency towards the supernatural being. And in undergoing this call or transcendental call to be higher than we are now, we create a kind of enterprises which at the end will become also our religious culture. Political being. Aristotle called that we are zoon politikon, or political being. We think something good, something useful, something meaningful that helps other people, also the whole community where we live, experience every good things. Every good thoughts, every good plans, every good will count to help, to contribute in the creations of good society. As we think or participate in this kind of enterprise, we are called a political being. Homoludens means man plays, not just man, but also woman plays as well. But the points I would like to offer in this nature of humanity is that we need sometimes to have a break and being playful, being happy, laughing, and well, we have fun. We need to express our essential existential call as well to be a homo ludens. Homo labor, everyone who wants to eat, he or she has to work. Every human person is a homo labor. Your humanity will be determined whether you work or not. If you don't work, it means probably you don't need to eat, and therefore you don't want to become a human being. But because you want to become a human being, we, all of us needs to work. Homo hierarchicus. It means human being acknowledge that there are levels of truth, there are levels of beauties, there are levels of values. Because there are levels of this kind of values, there must be also a hierarchy, structural. I mean, in the society, there are also structures of values. There are hierarchy of values. So what does it mean to apply anthropology as a paradigm? To apply anthropology as a paradigm, it means we have an object of scrutiny. We try to learn to understand this object, and we use anthropology as a media to approach it. As anthropology has a concern in culture, understandings, and also good things inside of the culture, it means if we apply anthropology to understand some subjects, we would like to know the meanings that can be explored through the eyes of anthropology. Let me talk a little bit also about culture and its significance, especially food as a case of study. What is culture? Culture, cultura, it means things that is cultivated, things that is cultivated. What these things can be consist of? It can be everything that comes from our human nature. I have mentioned to you around seven natures of our humanity. It means everything that is valuable, everything that is useful, everything that is beneficial for our humanity and development will be cultivated, will be pursued, will be learned, will be traditionalized. Clifford Geertz, when he talked about what culture is, he said that a culture is it's a kind of web of significance that human being has created, and now this web of significance has trapped human being itself in it. I think this is a very good definition of what culture is. So to understand what culture is, Clifford Geertz suggests that we need to interpret the reality of culture. He introduces a strategy of understanding culture with a term called Hermeneutic of Culture. If we try to understand the essence of one's culture, it means we try to understand all values, all Verstehens in Germany, all understandings that lays beneath the expression of culture that we can recognize. So there are layers of significance in one practice of culture. And we know cultures also a shaper of our identity. As I mentioned before, there will be religious culture, social culture, political culture, and so forth. As we also get the knowledge of these aspects of our humanity and cultivate all these aspects in our daily life, years by years, time by time, therefore, we have our own culture, we have our own identity, we have our society culture, also identity. And I would like to say, food also contributes in the formation of our identity. In my opinion, as I study anthropology, every civilization was built around the source of food. Food at the end, will be recognized as a language of communications. If you are not in a good relationship with others and you have an idea to be better again in relationship and you try to offer food, something new will happen. And food change our relationship into its better. Food also a cultural symbol. It is also social construction. Let us have a look a little bit on the food in the area of Majapahit. It is a bit a leap presentations. I offer you a map of Majapahit Empire. It comprises so wide area, including what is called the Southeast Asian by this modern time, but also I think it is India India. So wide. The point of this map I display in this presentation is just to let you know that Majapahit Empire consists of so many different societies. If every society has its own food, we can imagine that food from different societies will be acknowledged also by the whole people in this empire. It means in the area of Majapahit, there had been so many types of food. Food for daily use, food for special occasions, food for rituals. And here I also mention a tumpeng as an offering food. Food offering in this picture, beautiful picture, is for me a cultural system. There are meanings available on this food tray. For example, first of all, in this display, we know the yellow rice cone. It represents Mount Mahameru, and the things surround this mount just describe. It is societies around the empire of Majapahit. The way this food tray organized, it also tells how society in the time of Majapahit also organized, also being organized. Yeah. The display of this tumpeng food also tells that the political system applied in the empire of Majapahit apply a system of mandala, which tells that from different directions of wind, this power has been constructed. And also this tray of food tells how the people in the area of Majapahit acknowledge that there are 3 levels of inhabitants. The inhabitants of the supernatural, the inhabitants of our life, also the inhabitants of the underworld. The varieties of food displayed in this tray of food also says that there are harmony in diversity. Everything that is that are around this mount, which tells our life, show that we have different things in our society, including tribes, including ethnicities, and so forth, including religion.
Thank you.
There are also sets of values and hierarchies of values. A celebration of life is marked by the sharing of food.
Okay, thank you very much, Romo Sutirni. I'm sorry, I'm worried that time is already finished.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, too bad we cannot listen all part of the presentation, but I'm sure there will be a lot of questions. You know, if you're still, for the audience, if you're still interested and you're curious about Romo Sudiono's presentation, please feel free to chat. And then we can discuss it more in the question and answer session. Okay, Romo?
Okay, yeah, Jessica.
Yeah, thank you
Go
very
on.
much for
You
the
are very
presentation.
welcome.
So from his presentation, I think if there's one thing that I think very interesting is that, you know, tumpeng is more than just a beautifully organized rice and the egg and everything else, but it has more than that. It has much deeper meaning than that. So thank you very much for teaching us that one. And then now we would like, after we understand, we know a little bit about how food is related to our identity. Now we would like to explore a little bit more about the Majapahit era food. Okay, so we will move on to our second speaker, which is Yohanes Somawiharja. Maybe we can share the short bio. Yeah. So Yohanes Somawiharja is our current lecturer in University of Ciputra, and then he's an engineer, but an engineer with a lot of enthusiasm towards culture, especially the one in our ancient Java in the Majapahit era. He graduated from the Ohio State University, and then he has research related to NIRA. So I think without further ado, we would like to hear the presentation from Mr. Yohanes Somawiharja about the ancient food of Java. The time is yours.
May I be able to share? Can you put that to? I'm still disabled. Okay. Can I share the PPT by myself?
Okay, it has been enabled, so now I think you can share.
Okay then. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Greeting for us all. I hope I find you in a good health and good spirit also. My name is Yohanes Somawiharja, and I'm a mechanical engineer by training. But I love history, and I also love cooking. And within Universitas Ciputra, we have 3 departments under the Universitas Ciputra School of Tourism, which is the Department of Culinary Art, Department of Tourism, and the Department of Food Technology. And that is the background of what I'm going to present today. I found so many research papers by our archaeologists are being published. The research findings are very interesting, yet no proper utilization nor commercialization is done on that findings. I'm going to share about the foods of ancient Java as written in our historical records. I hope to inspire and motivate you to apply them in your food creation and commercialization. This is the island of Java. Java is a volcanic island. The size of Java is more or less as big as Semenanjung, Malaysia. So the western part of Malaysia and Java is at a similar size. We have 18 active volcanoes in Java. That's why the land is so fertile, because we are blessed with so many volcanic acids. You don't need to work much, actually, to cultivate almost anything in Java. Even several crops can be cultivated every year. The origin of the word Java actually is not very clear, but one of the interpretation is the word Java Dwipa, or the Java Island, is come from foxtail millet or Italian millet here, Jawawut. We call it Jawawut in Java. And here in Karma Vibhanga panels, that's the lowest panels in Borobudur Temple, which is built in 8th century, depicting farmers in rice field and noble household enjoying rice products. So this is in your left side. You can see the Jawawut plants, and when it's already cultivated, and you can turn it into food. So one interpretation says that the word Java, name Java, is come from Jawawut, or Java Dwipa come from foxtail millet. So the ancient Java was a house of several Hindu kingdoms in the span of 800 years. There is Kedatuan Sriwijaya. Kedatuan Sriwijaya, probably the capital city is around the city of Palembang right now in Sumatra. It's included western and central part of western and central Java. That's in AD 670 until 1025. And then at the same time, there is a Kalinga kingdom. That's in northern part of central Java. The capital city is close to Pekalongan right now. So that's about not 200 years. And then the kingdom of Medang. Medang Ibumi Mataram, that's the name of the kingdom. First of all, they in the 8th until 10th century, it is located in the central part of Java, and then after AD 1000, it is moved to East Java, probably at the capital city, probably close to Surabaya. And then the kingdom of Kahuripan. This is mostly in East Java, and then the kingdom of Kahuripan split into two different kingdoms, kingdom of Cenggala and the kingdom of Kediri. And then we have, after Kediri, we have Singasari kingdom. That is in 13th century. It's short, actually. And then followed by the Majapahit kingdom. That's in 13th century until 16th century. We can see that within the span of 800 years, we can find a lot of different archaeological sites in Central Java and also in Eastern Java. The remains of the huge temple from the Hindu kingdom, such as Borobudur. Borobudur is very big, 123 by 123 meters, and the height is about 35 meters, decorated with 2,672 relief panels and 504 Buddha statues. And also the Prambanan and Sewu the temples. Both temples have 4 large, 11 mediums, and 402 small carved stone buildings. So it's very, very huge, a complex actually. So we can see that they, in the era, in that contemporary era, they can build this kind of huge building. They must have a capability to organize people, but also to provide them with enough food, which can be provided by the land, because the land is so fertile. So Java can produce more than one crops every year, and that provide enough resource for the manpower to establish this kind of building. It's very big. in Java, historical record, we can find historical records in prasasti inscriptions, kakawin poetries and prose, kidung in temple reliefs. We can find records in this prasasti, kakawin, kidung, and temple relief. On your right, on the right, you can see one example of the prasasti here, and in the middle it is prasasti made of stone, and in the middle is prasasti made of copper or bronze usually, and usually the kakawin, the prose, the poetry and the prose usually is written in dried lontar leaves. That is the example is on the left side. Usually, you got that leaves. It's the family of palm leaves, and then they dried it, and then they can write on it, and it can stay for a very long time actually. So this is some example of the old temple relief in Candi Prambanan. There are some nobles that have a feast here, and you can see in the left side here is the carvings depicting foods. Also in Karma Vibangga panels from Candi Borobudur, you can find people with livestock, people hunting, and also cultivate crops. Prasasti. Prasasti etymologically means praise in Sanskrit language. We have different kind of prasastis, Sima prasastis, Jaya. This is to record any important events. These are different prasastis. We have dozens of prasastis that is now located in the, usually they put it in the museum, and a lot of archaeologists study about what's written in it, because some of the inscription is already eroded over time. This is inscription in stone, but on your lower left, you can find, you can see example of prasastis with copper in it. This is list of food prasastis. These are prasastis that recording foods. Usually when somebody have some important event, and then they record that event. And usually the event will be followed by feast. And then what they eat on that feast will be recorded also in the prasastis. This is very important findings that we can know what people eat in that era actually. So this list of prasastis that record a lot of list of foods. The prasastis name here is referring to village name where it found in the modern days. This is one of the example, Prasasti Prada, the Sima inauguration of Prada village in AD 943. They record a lot of foods here. This is the food that is recorded. We will talk about it later on. This is Prasasti Jeru village land endowment from King Pusindok in AD 930. This is the food that is recorded on that prasasti. And then kakawins, or ancient poetries. Historical and religious narrative of ancient Java are mostly recorded in the form of poetry called the kakawin. Kakawin is have a root word kawi. Kawi means poet. Thus kakawin means a poet's workpiece. Kakawin of ancient Java are recorded in dried lontar leaves like this. And this is a list of food kakawins. Negara Kertagama in AD 1365 during the Majapahit era, and then Ramayana AD 870. This is written during the rule of Dyah Balitung, Arjuna Wijaya in 14th century, Lubdaka, Kirdung Harsya Wijaya and stuff. This is Kawin Ramayana, regarded as Adika Kawin or best poetry because it is so beautifully written. It contains the story of Lord Rama, Ramayana. Lord Rama and his warrior Hanuman fight against the evil king Ravana, who abduct his wife Sita. Nagara Kertagama is written by Dang Acharya Narendra under pseudonym Mpu Prapanca. This Kakawin is described a royal inspection tour of the King Hayam Wuruk, the greatest king of the Majapahit at the era. It gives a very detailed information about the journey, about the living environment, and also about the capital city, Wilwatik Tapura, which is the location, the current location is in the city of Trowulan right now, and the activities of that era. This is some example of notes from footnote from Kakawin. That is, we can still recognize it today. The name is still recognizable today. Rawon and Gerih in Jawa. Rawon is the black soup made of beef, usually beef black soup, and then Gerih. Gerih, if you are from Java, you know gereh. Gereh means salted fish. Akar-akar, wacik and jadah, dodol, that is already, originated from the 9th century, tape, dawet, kerupuk, serbat from the late Singosari. So the food category that people eat in ancient time can be categorized into six different groups here. The vegetables, meat or poultry, fruits, seafoods, beverages, and carbohydrates. The carbohydrate, the main carbohydrate for Javanese from ancient time is of course rice. They call it at the time pari, was, nasi, sega, skul. It is the ancient name of rice. And then ui or tuber roots, talus or taro, hilus, wild tuber roots, and atat mipihan. Atat mipihan means nuts and beans. There are abundance in Java from the ancient time. Well, if we go to, if we refer to Westerners to call what we have now as a staple food, nasi. In the West, they only have one term, rice. But in Java, you can find, if still in the plantation, they call it padi. And then after harvest, you call it gabah. And then when you already take off the shell, we call it beras. And then if you cook it, we call it nasi. And also with some derivatives, bubur, you can make payek, you can make kerupuk, dodol, and stuff. There is so many things they can make from rice. And meats and poultry. We can find in the prasasti and kakawins, the word kepu or hadan is for water buffalo, wok for pig, kitang or muncak, barking deer or kijang in Java. And mereka is rusa or deer, wedus for goat, ray for monkey, celeng for wild boar, hamsa for swan. There's an Indonesian word, angsa, and then andah for duck, hayam for chicken. It's almost the same with current name ayam, and then kalaung or kalong for pets. This is meats and poultry. But we have a certain category of meats here that is food for king and nobles. They call it raja mangsa. That is food that is specialized for nobles and for the king. It is recorded in the Prasasti Kandengan, Ganda Kurti, and Swaradharma. They call it dalaman or innards. Well, in East Java or in Java, people are craving for this. We call it jerohan. The ancient name is dalaman or innards. Wedhus gunting. Wedhus gunting means lamb. This very young lamb. Asu tugel or neutered dog. Badawang or tortoise. And then karung pulih, fighting wild boar. These are food that is, specialized for king and nobles. And then seafoods. Ancient records from China, for example, mentioned that Java is blessed with very abundant resource of seafoods, actually. So many seafoods is being recorded in the prasastis and kakawin. Some of it is call it nus or squid. The name nus is still being used right now in East Java to refer for squid. And then rumahan is ikan kembung, we call it. Kawan for gurami, taniri for mackerel or tenggiri, kakap for snapper, kadiwas for pomfret, ikan bawal, layar-layar for stingray, ikan pari, and then udang for shrimp, and then ketam for crab, hayuyu or yuyu, the freshwater crab, and then kenas for clams, and selar, ikan selar. Yeah. Only a few written sources describe vegetable as food. I think because the land is so fertile and vegetable is very easy to cultivate. I think they don't really consider it as a very high value of vegetable and fruits. That's why we cannot find too many records on vegetables and fruits in the kakawin and prasastis. But there are records about how vegetables are being served, cooked or served. We call it we recognize the word ametsel for today's pecel. And then urap. This is all assorted vegetables with peanut sauce and assorted vegetable with spice grated coconuts. And then dudutan or atah-atah or rumpah-rumpah for salads, uncooked fresh vegetables. Or ganan for today's jangan in Java for cooked vegetable and other ingredients also, meats, fish, etc. in it. And then fruits. The ancient word fruits for in Java is wah. Or right now in Java, if you mention food, you can also call woh. Woh means fruits. There are so many fruits that is recorded in the Kakawin, Ramayana Kakawin, because Rama have an army of monkeys, and monkeys love food, and that's why in the Kakawin Ramayana you can find a lot of fruits name over there.
Wow, we didn't expect that we can find those many fruits on the prasasti and written everywhere.
Some of the fruit mentioned here is in limited availability right now, like kecapi, limus for mangga bacang, kepudung, duet, but it's still available, but it's in limited availability. They also have snacks, or they call it ambil. Various prasasti and kakawin mention about ambil, dodol, sweets, rice cake, call it puli. We still have that name here in Java. Kupate, boiled rice cake wrapped in palm leaf. Juadah, fried chips, and also waciks. They call it tamarin, hasam, atat mipihan, atat sisilan for nuts and beans, and then bubur, rojak, Rujak is an ancient name actually. Laketan, Tape, Caru, Ui. But also there is a category of food that is said that's not recommended for good people. In Kakawan Nisi Sastra in late Majapahit, Sang Sujana mean educated and decent people are advised not to eat some of the following. They call it sergala for wolves, krimi and kawat for worms, ula or snake, musika, rats, and biyung, frogs. However, in Kakawin Negara Kertatama, it is mentioned that in the palace gala dinner, some of the recommended food above are provided to satisfy common people who crave them.
Okay.
So, common people love this food. So that's
Well,
why in the palace they still provide this non-recommended.
wow, okay. It's siapa yang nge-mute? Okay, sorry, Miss Rio, I think it's, I don't know, we accidentally muted. But anyway, I'm sorry. I know you still have a lot to tell us. We can feel it how much you would like to share with us. But I think for now we can move on to the next session first, and then later on we will have. I think we can have a lot more discussion later on the Q&A session. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Rio, for sharing. Well, if there's one thing that I can take from his presentation is that I'm thinking that the ancient food actually is not that far from us in the present. It turns out like most of them is still being consumed nowadays. We still know about it, and maybe in some areas, the term is still very similar to what we have now. Yeah, so it's very interesting. We can explore it more later on the Q&A session. So if any of the audience have any question, please feel free to send it to the chat, and then we can discuss it on the Q&A session. Yeah. So for now, I think we don't have any question yet. Maybe too many questions to ask, yeah? So you don't know which one to write down now, but it's okay. We can always discuss at the end of the presentation. Now, I think we can just proceed to the next one. Okay, so I would like to introduce you to our third speaker. So after we talk about the food from the anthropology side, and then we have from the culture enthusiasts, and then now we will go from the side of the food technologies. Please help me welcome Professor Hari Purnomo, which is also a professor in food technology of Universitas Ciputra Surabaya. He's been, quite the work. He has published 44 journals and many more. And then he specialized in meat, and he's also very willing and very interested in sharing about how food technology perceive this ancient food of Java, and then our history. Is there anything that we can take, and then anything that we can use to improve the food, the heritage? Anyway, without further ado, I will welcome Professor Hari Purnomo to start the presentation. The time is yours, Professor. I think the microphone is still muted, so.
Okay, now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Jessica, for introducing myself. Please allow me in this session to discuss more in detail from the food technology perspective about the food which had been mentioned by the first two speakers. I'm looking for some food which we still could find, and nowadays, and which is actually come from Majapahit Empire era. Next, please. Yes, as I mentioned before, this is the map of the Majapahit Kingdom. Next, please. Well, the Majapahit Empire cuisine can be classified as traditional inherited foods which are an expression of history, culture, and lifestyle. And these foods are an important insight into the dietary patterns of the empire and their surroundings. Some popular foods during the era of Majapahit Empire, which are still could be found these days, are the first one is cukut harsan, the second one is water goreng, the third one is kudak, the fourth one is tumpeng, and the fifth one is wajik. I would like to discuss it in more detail from the food technology perspective. First of all, I would like to discuss about cukut harsan. Next, please. Cukut harsan at the time is a spicy duck meat soup with young stem or pseudo stem of banana or Musa paradisiaca. It is interesting to note that they at the time already know that this pseudo stem could reduce the cholesterol content from the duck meat. Herbs used in this cooking were kencur, lengkuas, kunyit, and also kemenyan, and this is not usable anymore these days. Kemenyan were sprinkled to improve the flavor. Next, please. This I took from Yongkru. You see that this is the special duck soup during the Majapahit Empire. You see that the daging bebek is the duck meat, batang pisang muda is the residual stem of banana, and bubuk menyan is the boysin gum. Okay, next please. Let us look at this type of food can also be found in Bali and West Nusa Tenggara. And nowadays, there are several modified cukut recipe, especially in Bali. Although the original one was prepared from pseudo stem with pork or chicken meat, while in West Nusa Tenggara or Nusa Tenggara Barat, mainly found using chicken meat, which is called kandok kelak ares. And in Tanah Toraja, Sulawesi or Celebes, they call it papyong burak. This is chicken banana pseudo stem soup. Next, please. Right. I will tell you a little bit more about kandok kelak ares. Kandok kelak ares is a mix of chicken, duck, and Muscovy duck meat, together with young pseudo stem of banana, and found as a major food or special dish of Sasak tribe in Lombok, West Nusa Tenggara. The herbs used are garlic, turmeric, Girit galanga, Campharia galanga, pepper, coriander, and candlenut. These spices were then finally ground and fried with 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. So at the time, there is no cooking oil, but coconut oil is more available. And coconut oil is a very healthy oil, actually. And then after it is giving a very good flavor, they put the cut meats and mix together. Next, please. Okay. What is actually pseudo stem of banana? Pseudo stem of banana is a middle part of the banana tree, and it is cut in small pieces before kitchen salt added, squeeze and rinse to get rid of dirt and other contaminants. Next, please. Now we see this is the middle part of banana plant, as I mentioned before. That's the floral stem. It consists of the seed packed with a seed, and this special stem is used either as food or as a fiber for textile industry. So this is the part which we use or they used for food. That's the floral stem, or they call it the pseudo stem in biological science. Next, please. if you see the nutrient fact about this stem, the fresh one gives you a protein, fat, soluble dietary fiber, starch, and ash. But if you make it as a flour, the fat is reduced, the protein is increased, the ash is increased significantly, and the crude fiber is also very important for our diet. Next, please. Well, as I told you before, that the ingredients of this food is duck meat. What is actually duck meat? Duck meat is the major parts consumed primarily from the breast and leg of ducks. Like all poultry meat, the meat is categorically classed as white meat, despite the color being slightly darker than the normal poultry. The one that very interesting for us today is that everybody told you not to eat duck because your cholesterol content will be increased or will be higher. Actually, it is not 100% right. It's simply because that the duck fat is a rich of source of polyunsaturated linoleic and oleic acid. Some researchers claim that this polyunsaturated content of the duck meat also have the health benefit, such as a reduction of the cholesterol content, as well as increasing the energy. However, the one that we make mistake during consumption of this duck meat is we are eating too much. If we are eating too much, there is a potential risk. If the duck fat consumed too much, as it also contains high saturated fat and high calories, hence you will get an increased cholesterol content, also increase your body weight. So this is the limitation of the duck meat. So if you eat duck meat, especially without the skin, it is much better than with the skin because most fat were laid under the skin. Okay, next. Now, if you look at the nutrition fact about this cooked duck meat, you see that the highest part is saturated fat, about 50%. And then we have cholesterol, about 28% of the daily value. So the total fat are about 43%. But the interesting thing is that the protein is also 38%. There are quite a number of vitamins, and especially you have a magnesium content over there, calcium and iron. The highest content is iron, and this is very good for your health. So again, if I would like to underline that please don't eat too much than you need, because if too much, there is a potential risk of it. Next, please. This is the Muscovy duck. Muscovy duck is what we call mentok or angsa. Sorry, mentok, not angsa. Angsa is geese or goose. Muscovy duck meat is a young duck meat are considered very lean, tender meat. And this is different than other ducks because their fat content are less than the other ducks. It looks like a feel in the beef meat or in the cattle meat or beef. Okay, next please. So the nutritional fact is the same. We have a special ingredients or components which are very significant. Next, please. The chicken meat is also you have known already, and I don't need to talk about it in more detail. You can read it through. Next, please. So the nutrient fact is also, again, we have to be careful with the cholesterol content and the saturated fat. And again, the fat is more under the skin of the meat. Next, please. Well, this is a well-known one. Pork, or called pig meat. This is also has a very high cholesterol content. Next, please. So if you see that the whole meat cuts added in this food will contribute quite a lot amount of cholesterol. Next, please. The spices used as the kencur or aromatic ginger. I think we have known that already in our Indonesian cooking and also in the Malaysian cuisine, and maybe also other countries. And then we have the next one, please. Kencur is also used for folk medicine, just like beras kencur. And beras kencur has a health benefit, as you see in the slides. Okay, next, please. The second one is laos or lengkuas or Alpinia galangkal is also a spices used commonly in Indonesian, Malaysian, Thailand, and other Southeast Asian cuisine. It has an aroma like ginger, but it has final smell like citrus fruit and pine. Okay, next, please. The benefit of lengkuas for health, you can see that quite a number. There's about 8 benefits you can see in this slide. Next, please. We have kunyit or curcumin or turmeric. This is a very also common in our spices used in the kitchen. And turmeric contains beta-carotene, ascorbic acid, curcumin, calcium, flavonoids, fiber, iron, and so forth. Next, please. Well, some health of that kunyit or turmeric. As you see, there are 9 health points, health benefits, right? Next, please. This is rather odd to use in food, but again, it is a balsamic resin or benzoin resin, originate from the bark of the trees of genus Styrec, and it is mainly used for perfumes, some kind of incense and as flavoring, but also used in the cukut harsan, in the food during Majapahit Kingdom. Next, please. As you see, benzoin resin is also used in cosmetic, veterinary medicine, scented candles, but also benzoin resin is for flavoring baked goods, especially those containing vanilla or cassia. Next, please. Okay, the conclusion of cukut harsan is that the nutrition fact of the ingredients showed that cukut harsan contain high cholesterol, especially from meat cuts added. However, the combination of the stem of banana and the herbs used could reduce the cholesterol content of this food. The pseudo stem of young banana tree is potential source of dietary fiber and could give a good health, very good benefit for consumer health. Therefore, this pseudo stem has the potential to be developed as the basic of dietary fibers food. Next, please. I go to the second food. It's a deep fried water. Water is the silver rasbora fish. As you see, it is served in the clay plate and topping with the shredded red chili. Next, please. This is the water of silver rasbora. And in Malaysia, it is known as buntung, londoi, seluang, or water pari. And this rasbora nutrition has the water, protein, fat, carbohydrate, and S, but especially the amino acids is the lysine and leucine. Next, please. Rasbora nutrition and cooking. If you see that the nutrition components of rasbora fish are dependent on what cooking technique is used. Some researchers reported that steaming method could prevent excess protein loss compared to boiling and deep frying, and fat reduced as well. Although the shelf life is better if deep fried the fish as lower the moisture content. The traditional way of serving is not too impressive, and therefore to catching the consumer, it is needed to be improved as well as the packed pouches of other containers. Next, please. This is gudeg. It is a very popular food, especially in Central Java and West Java. Central Java mainly in Yogyakarta. Next, please. And this is the gudeg nutrition fact. If you see, there is no a very low fat content. Next, please. The one that important in gudeg is originally prepared using simple cooking utensil and wood fire for heating, and as heat penetration is different than using metal cooking utensil and glass electric stove. Hence, there were a big effect on nutrition and bioactive component, as the interaction of these components are dependent on temperature and time of cooking. A big variation of side dishes added during serving could mainly affect the nutrient and bioactive component of this food as a complete served gudeg. Next, please. This is the tumbang. It has been already discussed 2 times this afternoon. And then next, please. The most important part of this is the nutrition fact. You can see it later. Next, please. This is the nutrition fat. If it is completely served, you will see that it's saturated fat and total fat as well. Next, please. And this is the conclusion that this side dishes surrounding the yellow rice cone plays an important role in the nutrition fact of complete yellow rice cone. Although each side dish represents a certain philosophy of life, however, from food technology point of view, it is important for nutritive value as the proportion of plant, animal, and fish side dishes could affect the balanced diet. As the food, especially the side dishes, are prepared with different cooking techniques, hence sanitation and hygiene during and after preparation becoming most important issue. Next, please. This is the last one, the wajik, has been also mentioned by the second presenter. Next, please. This is the component used, the ingredient used for making the wajik. Next, please. The white glutinous, palm sugar. Next, please. And the coconut milk. Next, please. And pandan leaves. Next, please. This is the nutrition fact of the wajik of glutinous rice cake. You see that it's a very good source of total carbohydrate. Next, please. Yes, wajik or sweet glutinous brown sugar diamonds prepared using glutinous white rice, palm sugar, coconut sugar, and pandan leaves. Sanitation and hygiene again must be strictly and properly applied, as lipolytic bacteria could be the contaminants which make wajik go rancid during storage. Moisture content and water activity adjustment into intermediate moisture food characteristics are very crucial to prevent wajik from microbial contamination. Next, please. Well, at the end, I would like to make a concluding remark. The ancient foods, such as food in the era of Muscovy Empire that have been prepared in a very simple and thoughtful way, are naturally rich and nutritious for centuries. This food could be a basic for modification into millennial food, and it is very potential to boost the tourism in this country. I think that's all of what I can discuss this afternoon. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Prof. Hari. So after coming from the anthropology, the cultural, and then now we heard about the food from the food technology side. Well, it seems like there's so much to explore here, yeah? It's very interesting, and we also need to remember that Majapahit era, as explained before in the map that is presented by Romo Sutiono, then presented by Mr. Yu, shown that actually Majapahit era is not only covered Indonesia in nowadays, but also covered another area. But today, after this, we will listen to our fourth speaker that will cover the point of view from Malaysia traditional food. We would love to hear what we can learn from Malaysian food. So here I would like to proudly present our most beautiful speaker of the day, Professor Fazila Rifin, which is coming from USM, University Science Malaysia, which is the only Apex university in Malaysia. By the way, Apex stands for Accelerated Program for Excellence, and that is the only one in Malaysia. So looking forward to hear from her. She is also an expertise in the food ingredient functionality, active packaging, innovative product development that graduated from Leeds University. So I think without further ado, we can invite Professor Fazila to start presenting about Malaysian traditional food, the nutritional perspective. The time is yours,
All right. Thank you very much, Jessica, the sweet moderator, our guest. You are actually pleasing me with something, Good. So I think I should thank you, the moderator, for the nice introductions. Salam sejahtera. I think in Indonesia you call it salam sejahtera, right? Also.
Yeah, right.
And good afternoon to everyone. And first of all, I would like to extend my thanks to the organizers, Universitas Chaputra, for inviting me to join the sharing session this afternoon. So I would like to share my presentations that I hope that everyone will get some good knowledge after the end of this webinar series. Yeah. All right. Okay. Okay. Can you see that? Yeah. Jessica?
Yes, we can see it.
All right, okay. Again, my name is Fazila. I'm from University of Science Malaysia. I'm actually very happy to hear that there are alumni from Leeds University as well. Professor Dr. Augustus, you are from University of Leeds. Actually, we are coming from the same university. I did my master's and PhD in University of Leeds as well. All right, okay, the presentation flow should be, I'll be covering a brief overview of the Malaysian so-called Malay culture dish, overview on different types of rice, because they are the staple diet for our culture. And I will touch briefly, I will try to make a very fast speed because the time allocated only 20 minutes. So then on the Nasi Lemak and its nutritional aspect, Nasi Dagang, Nasi Kerabu, and Nasi Lamuni, and then the very short conclusions on the presentation. I think everyone of you will agree with me that the cuisines of Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and Brunei are quite similar because we are coming from the same roots. So, however, the Malaysian cooking is a bit unique because it has been assimilated to other influences such as the Arab, the Chinese, the Indian, Indonesian, Portuguese, and Thai. For your information, we have been actually colonized by Portuguese also for a few years. So there's some influence of Portuguese in our dishes as well. All right, in the Malay terms, Jessica, can you try to remove a bit on the list of participants on the side, because I cannot read my presentation in a full manners because it's on the right-hand corner. So it's a bit, how do I minimize?
Okay, you can minimize. You can see there's a dash sign. You can see there's a dash sign on the top of the participant list. You can cross it or you can minimize it. Does it work?
No, it doesn't work for me.
Wait,
security, because I'm not used to this. Actually, I'm used to WebEx, so I'm not quite sure how to do that. But anyway, I can't really see it in full because it's covered by these pictures of participants on the right-hand corner.
Oh, okay. Then maybe you will see on top of the pictures of the participant, there are like few boxes. You have the one with many boxes, and then 2 boxes, 1 boxes. You choose the one on the leftmost side, so it will be very small.
I don't really understand what you're saying, but it's okay. I'll try to try to do as much as I can. All right, okay. Basically, the Malaysian or the Malay cooking is rich in herbs and spices, and usually it's a bit spicy. And a coconut, as like Prof. Hari said, I think Indonesia, Malaysia is almost the same. We use a lot of coconut, and coconut is one of the main ingredients usually used in our cooking. And if you cook with meat, for example, you normally have a very thick gravy. And if you are using fish and seafood, usually, and I think occasionally, they will try to put as much as turmeric as possible to cover the unpleasant odor by the seafood and also the fish. So as a staple food of Malaysia, then we have a wide range of recipes, but for this sake of this presentation, I'll be focusing more basically on 4 types of rice. The first one is Nasi Lemak, the second one is Nasi Kerabu, and the third one is Nasi Dagang, and the fourth one is Nasi Lamuni. So basically, the name of Nasi Lemak is derived from the cooking process where the rice is soaked in the coconut cream, and then the mixture either you steam it or you cook it. Yeah. So the fragrance from the giving to the Nasi Lemak is due to the contributions from the coconut cream. and also the pandan leaf, because pandan is very flavoring and it's flavoring ingredients and usually used for many types of cooking, including this nasi lemak. So traditionally, when you serve the nasi lemak, you always, it comes together with fried anchovies, sliced cucumber, and sweet chili sauce. But modern days of variation of nasi lemak offers a very wide variation in terms of side dishes. You can have more than what been the normal one served every day. Okay, if you look at the history of Nasi Lemak, it started back in 1909 when Nasi Lemak was first mentioned by Richard Olaf in the book titled Life and Customs, The Circumstances of Malay Life. And it was, again, come out in the newspaper cutting in 1935 to mention that there are those type of dishes that are available in certain area in Kuala Lumpur. And back in 1970s, nasi lemak was packed in a small packet, wrapped in banana leaves, and usually a much smaller size, and price usually like 30 cents. So 30 cents now is very little. You can't buy anything with 30 cents now in Malaysia. So, and it often sold door to door by traveling vendors. And nasi lemak is regarded now as the Malaysian national dish and often accompanied by various dishes such as fried chicken, sambal kerang. I do not know what you call it in Indonesia, but I think kerang is something like
it's same here. Yeah, we call it kerang as well.
Squid, sambal sotong. So the price is now is much more higher, maybe 10 times or 20 times than the original price that it started off. No, well, with a dish like this, a plate of dish like this, it can goes up to 7 ringgit, 8 ringgit per plate. So I'm as a food technologist, of course, I'm going to talk more on the nutrition aspect of the nasi lemak. And according to studies done by the Sun et al. 2015, it shows that nasi lemak consists of 27.9 gram per 100 gram of serving, and it's high in fat as well. It contains about 25 grams. And it's also have a lot of protein as well, so 14.4%. It means that when you have those kind of element, fat and protein in your product, it means that it's also susceptible to microbial contamination, because it's a good food nutrient for the microbes to grow. And also, it can shorten the shelf life for your product as well, because microbial can grow rapidly, very fast. So according to this research done by Nick Shahita in 2011, they have done the approximate percentage analysis on the composition and also total dietary fiber of the food. And it shows that nasi lemak has the highest moisture content, almost 63%, and has a substantial amount of fat, carbohydrate, and also protein. So the moisture content in nasi lemak was higher, so it may due to the recipe of the preparations where the nasi lemak comprised of the coconut rice, and it's served together with the cucumber, chili, steamed egg, groundnuts, and anchovies, where most of the ingredients are high in moisture content. Okay, in terms of GGI, if many of you don't understand, GI is the glycemic index. It has the values from 0 to 100. The medium range of GI, which is safe for everyone to eat, is between 0 to 55. The middle one is 56 to 69, and the highest is more than 70. Means that if you have nasi lemak is about 66 GI value, means it's the medium GI value, means that it's not that always recommended for you to take, because it's the GI is quite intermediate GI, medium GI. So if you take it or you consume it frequently, it can cause some not a well-balanced diet for your body as well. Okay, in terms of, there are also studies on the percentage of amylose and amylopectin. Amylose and amylopectin are those two starches that actually present in all type of starches or type of carbohydrates. So in this research, they basically want to know whether this amylose and amylopectin has the influence on the GI intake of the food. Particularly amylose, because amylose can easily dissolve in cold water, and amylopectin will form a gel. So they try to find the correlations between these amylose content to the GI values. And apparently, yes, it has some influence. When you have total amylose is higher, your tendency to have a higher glycemic index as well. These are the two papers that I'm referring to. Okay, the lifestyle, the change of lifestyle demand for healthier and safer food. For example, our old folks, they are doing a lot of physical exercises. They do they cultivate things. They do a lot of bending, standing up, and everything. But now look at us. We are actually in front of computer. Even today, also we are actually facing the computer. So we are not actually living in a very healthy lifestyle. So we have to tailor-make our food into the lifestyle that we have. So thanks to these few researchers done on how to substitute the coconut milk with the soya milk, because all of us, I think, agree that coconut milk contain more percentages of fat compared to the soya milk. So this group of researchers, Lani et al., they have done to find whether by substituting this soya milk, is there any influence on the overall perception, overall acceptability of the product itself. So the main component of coconut, again, part of water are fat and protein, and the higher the amount of fat and protein content, it makes the coconut milk prone to microbial spoilage. And there is increasing demand for healthier and safer food. The effect of substitution of coconut milk with soya milk in Nasi Lemak is an alternative way to reduce its calorie content, and also probably can reduce the cost as well. So this in this research, the Nasi Lemak was prepared using various type of coconut milk, tin coconut milk, thick coconut soya milk, and also and etc. So they found out that in terms of sensorial property, like we always said that, no matter how good is your food, but if the taste is out, it means out. You cannot sell the food. So the best thing is actually to complement between two. It has a good nutritional properties as well as good appearance and good sensorial properties. So in this case, they found out that, replacing 25% of coconut milk with the soya milk is still acceptable. So 20% substitution of coconut milk with soya milk in Nasi Lemak successfully provide the sensorial characteristic that close to the original sample, the control samples. So, however, there are some limitation in terms of color, because sometimes it, soya milk can cause some yellowish in color in the product. So it probably the drawback, but sometimes people just don't care so much on that aspects, because they only concerned about the taste. But in terms of the plate count, or maybe I just put, I wanted to put only the nutrition, but I think the plate count, aerobic plate count also important to indicate that microbial growth also can be influenced if you there are no significant difference actually in after 24 hours of storage, whether you are using the soya milk or you are using coconut milk within 24 hours. So maybe after 24 hours, it starts to deteriorating in the quality itself. So I'm actually referring to this research done by this group of researchers, Lani et al. The second signature dish or the signature rice in Malaysia, you call it nasi kerabu or salad. I think in our language we call it kerabu is salad or salad, yeah, in English. So the blue rice eaten with various component herbs and salad, coconut, fish flour, spicy sauce, salted egg, cracker, stuffed chilies, and fried fish or chicken. It's originating from Kelantan in 15th centuries, and is a traditional among Kelantanese peranakan. Peranakan means the mixture of the local with the other countries' other countries. So a similar dish known as also in Thailand, they call it kam kwa jam or kwa yam, as in southern Thailand, due to intermarriage between the Hokkien man and original Thai origin, which are living in Kelantan. So if you have been to Malaysia, Kelantan is located in the east coast of Malaysia, the one that I highlighted with the stars there. So the purple one is Kelantan and the green one is Terengganu. So both are actually known for this nasi kerabu for their breakfast. So basically these are the ingredients in the nasi kerabu. But for the sake of this presentation, I just wanted to concentrate on only two things that I think has significant values in terms of scientific research. Yeah. So the one is actually the one that I want to concentrate more is on the bunga telang. Bunga telang, I do not know what do you call it in Indonesia, but we call it bunga telang. And usually it has a blue color. Scientific name is Chlorotria. It's hidden behind the, I cannot read. So it's actually scientifically known as Clitoria ternatia. Yeah? So it really is having a blue in color, very deep blue in color. Of if we be the food scientists, when we look at this blue or purple color, we automatically knows that it has natural pigment and it contains anthocyanins. Anthocyanin is one of the natural coloring that good for antioxidant properties. If you want to say that, if you want to eat a lot, then you get awet muda, yeah? Something like you can preserve your youth if you take it more often. Oh, you're smiling, Jessica. So you have been taking this a lot, okay. And the other one that I would like to focus is actually the ginger torch, or we call it kantan in Malay. I'm not quite sure in Indonesia, yeah? But we will go through that, okay. Basically, telang flowers, or in English they call it butterfly pea or blue pea. It has natural coloring. So, you know, when you have natural coloring, you don't need to register for the food coloring. Is permitted for you to be used daily. So basically, the scientist has been identified that the flower of this telang flower or butterfly pea has the can act as a natural colorant. So besides that, according to Azuddin et al. 2018, they have done thorough studies on the proximate analysis as well as the mineral composition. They found out that these telang flowers contain substantial amount of crude fiber, and also in terms of analysis of minerals, they found that a substantial amount of calcium can be extracted out by using this telang flower. So high calcium content helps to formation of strong and healthy bone, especially our bone and teeth require a lot of calcium. So maybe this is an alternative to for us also. Besides that, Bhakhtia et al. 2017 found that they have the phytochemical constituents of Clitoria ternatia, and they found that there's a lot of saponin, tannin, alkaloids, glycosides, polysterols, and so on. So which are the good things for anti-inflammatory, allergics, and used for anti-diabetic as well. This is I summarized the benefits of taking these telang flowers or the butterfly pea. They have a lot of antioxidant activity, and it shows a higher scavenging activity compared to the methanol extract. It's good because methanol is the solvent extract and the water extract. Mostly when we cook, we are using water, so it's a water extract. So means that the antioxidant property is more high in the water extract, which is good for us because we are cooking rice using the water. So it has anti-inflammatory and allergistic activity as well. And also another thing is that it's an anti-diabetic activity, which has a positive. They have tested on the rats, and they found that it has significant decrease after 14 days of administrative with telang flowers extract with 150 milligram per kilogram body weight. So it's scientifically proven. So these are the research done using these review papers. The next one is the ginger torch of bunga kantan. Bunga kantan is used for a salad in the nasi kerabu. Then definitely it has no they have been tested, the comparisons between the extract of bunga kantan and the commercial antioxidant. If you notice that we have added like cooking oil, for example, which has BHT inside, butyl hydroxytoluene inside to preserve as the antioxidant. So they are comparing this extract of kantan to this commercial BHT, and it shows that there's no significant difference between those extracts. Means that it's as good as the BHT as well. Also, it's have a good antifungal and antimicrobial due to the nature level of antimicrobial agent presence in the flower extract. This mode of action and typically different because they're using these, I think, the gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria to test on. All right. Okay, then the third one, signature dish is nasi dagang. Nasi dagang, it literally refers to rice eaten by traders in the course of their business venture. So usually they take it in the morning, so it can satisfy them until the afternoon. A dish consists of rice, steamed and coconut again, served with curry, fish curry, which is usually in all cases they are using tuna, and pickled with cucumber and also time out. Okay. Should I continue or should I just stop?
It's okay. I think you can finish this one.
Sorry?
You can finish this slide. It's okay.
Okay, right. And so practically they are using two types of grains, the long grains, long red grains, and also with a semi-polished off and give a very attractive red-brown color, reddish brown color, or sometimes in the Terengganu, for example, they're using the mixture of rice, the normal rice, and also glutinous rice. Yeah. So I think I will stop here. Any questions later that you all can ask me. So as a conclusion from my part, basically the Malaysian dish, rice dish in Malaysia is full with the nutritional elements that bring good to the body. But however, there are ingredient needs to be carefully managed for a good well-being diet, especially the santan. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Fazila, for the very interesting presentation. So I think now I know a little bit more about Malaysian traditional food. Even though too bad I haven't been there. I never been to Malaysia, but maybe one day.
Yeah, sure, come over.
But I'm really interested in this one as well, bunga telang. Actually, we use a lot of bunga telang as well in here. And then it's also a trending drink in here in Indonesia. So many coffee shops, they also sell the one that's non-coffee beverage, which is actually bunga telang, and then they just mix it with lemon. And then since it's like anthocyanin has different color in different pH, right? So it's
very susceptible to pH. If
yeah.
you adjust the pH, definitely will turn from pink to bright purple.
Yeah, right, indeed. So it's very fascinating, especially for the young generation, to see like, wow, it's a magical drink. But now we learned that it's more than just magical, right? It has very high antioxidant activity, and then it has so much more than that. So thank you very much for sharing on that one. So that's for the presentation for all of our speakers. I think I learned a lot. I hope you do too. Now it's time for the curiosity. I saw some questions. I got some questions here. So I think we can go straight to the question and answer. If you haven't sent your question in the chat box, you can do it right away. And then it will be better if you want to address to specific speaker to answer your question, or maybe you can just ask in general. Everything is fine. You can ask in Indonesia, you can ask in English. Don't worry. We all understand that, I think. Okay, so I will deliver the first question that I got is that, so this is interesting that many food in ancient time is still being cooked till nowadays. But then there are some parts that are definitely changing. So for example, it's the utensils. Maybe back then people use more clay pots like that one compared to metal utensils. But nowadays, I think metal utensil is more practical, and then usually is being widely used. So the question is that, is there any difference if we heat heat or processing food using clay pots and compared to using metal utensils? Maybe Prof. Hari Purnomo can answer.
Okay. Okay. Of course, there will be a very significant difference in the nutrition value of this two kinds of cooking techniques. It's simply because of the heat penetration to the food through the clay and through the metal cooking utensils are quite different. I think that is the knowledge which Pak Yo can explain more in detail about this heat penetration from the earthen cooking utensil compared to the metals one. And this is the opportunity for us as food technologists to start looking at these differences, because the metal one make you faster in cooking because of the very fast heat penetration, but also some of the nutritive value will be damaged because of the very high heat conducted into the food compared to the slow heat penetration within the clay pots. And we are also talking about the source of fire, which come from wooden and now come from the electric stove and also from the gas stove, give you also a different heat, what you call it, heat degree or heat penetration rate to the food. I think that's the one I can answer so far.
Okay.
No data yet in the food technology. I think this is a very good opportunity for food technology to do the research. Thank you.
Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you, Prof. Hari. Maybe Mr. Yu would like to add something regarding the heat transfer, or maybe about what do you think based on experience, perhaps, since you like cooking?
When you go to Java and in the villages, they still use not clay pot but earthenware. I mean the cheaper earthenware. And when you cook it, then some of the some of the smoke from wood and anything else you use for the source of heat will penetrate the earthenware, because the earthenware has some pores in it. So it will also affect the taste of the food, actually, especially for gudeg. You really need that earthenware to make it, in order to make the gudeg very tasteful. Well, about the heat rate, of course, if you use earthenware or you're using clay pot, the heat penetration will be slower, and so you need to cook longer, and it will affect the structure of the food also.
Okay. Wow. So it's more than just simply switch or modernize our utensils, but there are more than that, yeah, about the heat penetration, how it affects the texture and everything. Maybe Prof. Fazila would like to add something?
Jessica, yeah, I'm not in engineering part, but I think I agree with Prof. Hari. The heat distribution will be basically on the materials that you use. You know, the wooden have a slow heat distribution compared to the metal. And again, I think in terms of the sensory perspective also, when you cook it with a slow cooking, it will somehow preserve the some things very volatile. If you're using high heat, it will evaporate out, and some nutrients that they are very susceptible to heat treatment as well. So you need to have a low heat in order to preserve certain vitamins, for example, or any coloring, for example, in the cooking. Yep.
Okay.
So that's my point.
Thank you, Prof. Fazila. So I hope it answered the question. If you still have more questions on that matter, feel free to write it down on the chat box. By the way, let's move to our second question. We have a question. Okay. Did the Satya manga that was mentioned by Mr. Yo turn into nasi campur nowadays? Because it seems similar. So, Mr. Yo.
Can I share a little bit and show you? Oops, I already closed it. Second. Can you mention the?
Yeah.
What was the
Satyamanga.
question again?
So Satyamanga, that is presented in your
Satyamanga.
presentation, yeah.
Satyamanga. I don't think I mentioned that. Probably Romo.
Or maybe it's the different name, something similar. Perhaps we just forget that it's not called Satyamanga.
This is the school Paripurna. Can you see that?
Okay, is that the one?
I don't know. Well, in the Prasasti, they call for a school Paripurna. Means the very complete rice dishes.
Yeah.
Right now we call it as a tumpeng. They
tumpeng.
also have school mantiman and school dandanari hiniri, means that nasi campur individually served actually. Is it what you is what question about?
So actually the question is asking about Raja Mangsa. It's not Satyamanga.
Oh, Raja Mangsa. Okay.
Yes, Raja Mangsa.
What is the question again?
So is it what we call as nasi campur nowadays because they look pretty similar?
No. Nasi campur is more like that sekul paripurna or seka paripurna.
Oh, okay. So it's more.
Nasi campur is more of this instead. So sekul paripurna is presented in a very large flat basket actually. But when you have less dishes and serve it individually, so the name changed from school paripurna into school dandanani hiniru.
Wow.
The one at the bottom, on your right bottom.
So it looks like the
personal size school paripurna with fewer variation of dishes.
I see. Okay, so this is the mini tumpeng.
But they also have school mantiman. It's almost like Nasi Lemak right now, but with some curry dishes on it. So school mantiman is nasi liwet or nasi lemak, and then you put some opor in it. So you have the school mantiman.
School mantiman. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Yu.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think maybe we can move on to the next question. The next question is like, I would like to ask the meaning of number preference or nasi lemak's preference. Meaning, is it mean higher is more preferred since the soy have higher number preference? So maybe Prof. Fasila, maybe do you mind to share the...
Just now, Jessica?
So it's asking about the nasi lemak preference, the one that you try to replace coconut milk with the soy milk. And then we get the rate of preference, right? Which one is more preferred, which one is more acceptable by the customer.
All right. The one that's more acceptable is with the 25 substitutions of the soy milk. Means that 75% of coconut milk and 25% of the soy milk is the best in terms of overall acceptability and also the color and as well as the taste.
I see. Oh, it's
only 25% substitution.
Oh, I see. So there's a preference number, I think, yeah. There's a number of a preference.
I don't need. Usually you have one scale from 1 to 9. So I don't have the correct number, but I means that usually they have like they test for the acceptability. The hedonic scale is from 0 to 9. If their scores usually 5, 6, 7, 8 means it's good. It's good already. So it's the range for that. Actually, depends on the numbers that you get. It's no fixed number, but if you get more than 7, 8, then it should be good.
Higher number means better acceptance.
Higher acceptability, yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Fasila. Now I think we can move to our next question. So this is from Johannes. Looking at recent development on our eating lifestyle, in many parts of the world, many people are pursuing or campaigning vegan diet. So the question are, one, is there any trace we can find about vegan diet in ancient times? And then second, how does modern food science see this movement? So the question is about vegan diet. Nowadays, we have a lot of campaign on that matters. How about it in ancient times? Maybe anyone has any idea about this?
Yeah, I think the vegan diet during the ancient time is just urap-urap, isn't it, Pak Yu? It's urap-urap is a vegetable, cooked vegetable with a spicy grated coconut without meat.
You can find either urap-urap, mecel-mecel,
Mecel-mecel, yeah.
Yeah, and then also what you call the tututan, or a salad, probably something like that.
Okay.
If you're asking about the modern times, I think one example is a very good is pecel. The pecel sauce is now can be exported.
Yeah,
because it is packed in a very sterile boxes, and then you can send it overseas because you adjust the water moisture, the moisture content and the water activity into the intermediate moisture food so that it can extend the shelf life. Except the problem is the rancidity.
Yeah, I want to highlight that as well. With the peanut, it's okay. You can dry it out, and then the water activity become low. But the rancidity, if you open and close, there will tendency of having rancid smell. Tengik, yeah. You call it in Indonesia, tengik?
Yeah, tengik as well.
Tengik, yeah. Yeah, that's tengik, the Indonesian term for rancidity. Okay. But we can cope that problem by using by the sanitation and hygiene very strictly, and also the packaging need to use the very what do you call it, low air permeability plastics.
Yeah, sometimes do as well. Yeah, MO helps that as well, reduce the rancidity.
And probably you can make the packaging smaller. So if you just use it for some part of it, you don't have to open everything.
Yeah, we can do it. But I think the smaller one in the market is about 100 gram.
But you can always play around with the gases inside the pack as well. You can flush into the nitrogen, because nitrogen is inert gas, so it doesn't react so much with the food constituents. So it can extend the shelf life.
Yeah, I think we could extend the shelf life by vacuum packaging.
Yeah, to extract out all the oxygen, because oxygen is the one that the culprit that causes the oxidations to occur. So if you get out all the oxygen, then it should be extending the shelf life of the product.
Yeah.
How interesting, yeah. We talk about pecel and we can go far until the packaging and then the size and residue and stuff. By the way, there's a follow-up question regarding that one. So Johannes asked, vegan diet in relation to lifestyle, how is it? I mean, he meant like many people are pursuing vegan diet exclusively, so without eat any meat-based food. So how does it works in this modern food science? Like,
in a modern time, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you come to Jakarta, you will have a restaurant we call Vegutus, and that is they serve quite a variety of vegan cuisine. Just like they make meat, make chicken, all of them are made from what you call it, jamur. From what is it?
Mushrooms.
Mushroom.
Yeah, from mushroom combined with the soy protein extract. And you can have a lot of number of variety of cuisine they serve. there's a very big restaurant that's in West Jakarta.
Okay, thank you. Maybe from Musutiono, do you have any maybe about the vegan diet related to
lifestyle?
Yeah, lifestyle like that one.
For this modern time, being a vegan is a lifestyle, but long time ago it is not at all, because everyone's, especially those who live in a mountain, they do not get meat easily, so they just eat vegetables. So, but they never think about being a vegetarian.
So it's more like by chance, yeah.
This is a kind of a new way of living. I mean, with the pattern of food or eating habit. But actually, a long time ago, being a vegetarian is just part of life, and people never think that they are a vegetarian. But for those who practicing religious tradition, especially the Brahma, the first caste in Hinduism, they must be a vegetarian because they respect animals. They believe that there are souls in animals. So therefore, if they kill animals for food, it must not something good or a good idea to do. So they live with leaves, with vegetables, with plants. But long time ago, it is not a lifestyle. People in small villages in Java still keep eating vegetarians, but never thinks about being a vegetarian.
Okay, so it's not like purposely they only.
No, but just it is for modern, very modern people like you, Jessica.
How about the Buddhist, Rama? How about the Buddhist?
I think so. Also the same. Yes, yeah, they are. Because Buddhism also taking part in the traditions of Hinduism. So part of the way how they actually they look after their spiritual aspects of life by being a vegetarian. Even though there was no special term for being a vegetarian, but they benefit so much from being a vegetarian, from eating vegetables, not meat. They find out that eating so much vegetables will make your body far away from being hot, but it is more peaceful, easy, not heavy, and they take advantage from these situations. If you start being ascetics, it means you don't indulge food for your body, but try to make your spiritual aspects is stronger. You will keep away from meat.
Now that you mentioned about Buddhists, this is interesting that Buddhism in Indonesia is rooted like the culture, the religious culture is rooted in like Buddhism in China. But if you go to Thailand, for example, Buddhists there, the priests, the Buddhist monk, they eat meat in Thailand. Yeah. Because of the difference between religious sect. I think.
Yeah, there are types of Buddhisms as well as there are types of Hinduisms, and some types of Buddhism really decline any meat.
So if you go to Thailand, the Buddhist monk will eat meat over there.
Yeah,
it is probably quite surprising for Buddhists from Indonesia that is not the same cultural root as what they have in Thailand.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you. So I think we can move on. We have, can we get 1 or 2 more questions? Okay. Let's move on to the next question. So we heard from Prof. Hari and then from Fazila mentioning about how the ancient food, and then we brought it to now modern days. Is there any how do from the food technologies point of view, how do we present the traditional food with the modern process, but without, removing the traditional feelings and then the philosophy of the making? What do you think about that one? So presenting the fast food in a modern ways without, with still having all the values intact, like that one.
Yeah, I think we can do that one. We can do that one. Say, for example, that just like potato stem of the banana, it's not really used as food nowadays. It's simply because it looks like a very low social standing if you're eating that one. But if you go to the United States, you will find in a Los Angeles supermarket, this is potato stem banana tree has been already sold or already sell in the supermarket. It's for cooking. Yeah, and I think that's the way we have to do it in Asian countries, especially in Indonesia, that we have to start now to revive the Cukut Harsan, but we have to make it more interesting, especially the appearance, so that it have a touch into the millennial food. Say, for example, maybe you had not adding kemenyan anymore because kemenyan is for incense, but we use maybe mayonnaise or something like that, which make young people attractive to try out what kind of food is it, although it is actually originated from the ancient food. Just like wachik, for example, the cake, the glutinous rice cake. We can add inulin in there because wachik is only carbohydrate in its nutrition content. But we get inulin. Inulin is the extract of the dahlia flower root for a dietary fiber. Or we can also add some of the, what you call it, sukun. Sukun is a sort of breadfruit, yeah, a breadfruit flour to put in there to put a higher dietary fiber. So wachi is not only carbohydrate source, but we can touching with the bioactive components nowadays, and then we can upgrade this food into a modern food with a high nutritive value. I think that's the one we can do at the moment.
I would like to add from Hari's statement. I think I miss my main point in my presentation today. The main point is that you cannot present the ancient food as is today. Many people probably will not take it or accept it. You have to sell the story. Behind it. I think the story will create value along with that food that make it more acceptable for the current people, for example. So the story is very important for the food. You have to tell people that this is food from Majapahit era, and that will give adding a lot of value on that food actually. That's my main point actually. So learn history. Even though you are a food technologist, you need to learn history to be able to when you produce food, you can also deliver the story of the history behind the food, so it will increase the value of the food. So that's my main point actually. Yeah.
Okay, well noted.
You don't have to be an archaeologist for that. You just use their findings. There are a lot of findings. You just need to read the journals. You don't have to do the research yourself. It belongs to the archaeologist. Stories are beautiful.
May I add a little bit of information to this question, to the answer of this question?
Okay.
Yeah. In the last part of my presentation, in the conclusion, actually, I would like to present also that food also helpful, useful to sustain our identity. So it is about storytelling. If the philosophy of food that that is with us retold, sometimes it also helps people to find again that, oh, I got a great identity from the past. And so just like now, there has been a renaissance of Java. It means Javanese culture has been revived, also included in these movements, cultural movements, also how people in Java, young generations, try to put forth the past food. I mean, the food recognized in the past. And the telling of the story on that food presentations also so important. And that's why, as I said in the presentations, food also a media, an instrument to sustain someone's identity, Javanese-ness or Chinese-ness or European-ness and so forth. I think it's very useful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I give another comment, please, Jessica. Just I fully agree with Pak Yu and Romo Stiono about the story, but to fulfill the needs of nowadays, because they are more conscious about the health, I think the story could not left behind, but we need to add some more in the nutrition, because that could increase the value, not only because of the historical of that food, but also about the health ingredients which added into that food. And I think this can fulfill all the needs for the old days and for the modern days. I think that's the one we have to do it.
So there must be a selected food.
If I can chip in a bit on that, I think I agree with all of you, Prof. Ari, and also the other two speakers. But I think the innovation part has to be there as well. You know, for example, here you want to retain the dodol, for example, but try to think on innovative way. You do the chocolate, but you coat in a dodol inside. You coat the chocolate outside. So something the innovation. You have the modern life and you have the ancient to preserve as well. Like wajib, for example. Actually, we are trying to ask our students actually to bring up our delicacy, you know, the Malaysian delicacy, for example, wajib and everything. Try to be more innovative. Try to think like along that line of processing it to be like ice cream wajib or something like they have. Those kind of elements is there. The historical part is there, but it's modernized in a way that to fit, to suit the nowadays, the millennia, I think the millennials especially. So there are more tools that, you know, something like, I think we have in Malaysia also, burger Nasi Lemak, for example. So something that, you know, you transform into something that is more interesting. And I think the young one will be like, oh, what is this? They're going to try. And then they start to read what is it and get to know the nutritional properties as well. I think that's my view on that. You have to compromise between the histories, to preserve the history at the same time to follow with the technology that we have now to make it successful in food processing. That's all. Thank you.
Well, I think that's a great idea. So thank you very much. I think that should conclude the question and answer session. Thank you very much to all the participants for the question and then for the speakers for the discussion. I really enjoyed that one. And let's proceed to the end of the webinar. Yeah. Now we will have two more sessions, which is we will go for the taking picture together. But before that, we would like to present a certificate of achievement for the speakers for appreciation. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm blabbering. By the way, this is the certificate of appreciation for Romo Sutiono. Thank you very much for today's presentation.
Jessica and all.
It's a pleasure to have you here. And then the next one is presented to Mr. Yo for sharing thoughts. And then for Prof. Hadi Purnomo. Okay, and then the last but not least for Prof. Fazila. Thank you very much.
So much.
Now, thank you very much to all the speakers. We will send the file to you on email. And then before we really have to end this one, I think we can take pictures first, or maybe I can give the conclusion remark first, and then we can take picture. Yeah. Okay. So if I may conclude for all of these 2 hours today's webinar, is that I think even though I am a food lovers, I am being a food technologist myself. Now I realize that food is more than just stuff to fulfilling our stomach. It brings us the identity from the history from back then, and then it holds the belief, the value, and then we still can see it and explore it, and we can take it. Never forget the history, right? Never forget the history. Bring what we have from the past. We don't have to leave it just because it's ancient. We can always bring it to modern, and we can upgrade it and understand the value that we have today. So thank you very much once again. Please, for all the participants, feel free to turn on your video. We would like to take pictures with all of you here. Okay. So I think we will have, yep, please turn on your video. Wow, now we get to see more people who's coming here. Thank you very much for participating in this event. We do hope that you really enjoyed this as much as I did. And if not, please kindly fill the feedback form. Okay, it is already in the chat box, and when you finish filling the feedback form, then we will send you the certificate within 3 days. Okay. So has everyone turned on their video? Okay. Yep, I think we got them all.